A massive midweek penalty drops Chris Buescher from 12th to 24th in the points. Good morning, folks. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. It's never a good sign when NASCAR's weekly penalty report gets pushed past Wednesday night. They're not taking that extra time to tell us that everything's good and gravy. Usually, that means something is catastrophically wrong. And unfortunately, that was indeed the case this week. We'll talk about the latest penalty, some other Memorial Day weekend news in just a moment. But first, this episode is sponsored by Racing Electronics. When you're at a NASCAR race, don't you want to hear what the drivers may be saying over the radio? With a scanner rental from Racing Electronics, you can listen in live to every driver's team communications, hear uncensored radio chatter while you're in the stands, while you're at the track. Easily switch from one driver to another, switch to the official radio broadcast as well. Catch all the action from critical passes to dangerously close calls and important strategy decisions, all with a Racing Electronics scanner rental. Every rental includes a scanner, includes a headset, so you never miss a second of the action. Rentals go fast, so make your reservation today at racingelectronics.com. The Indy 500, the Coca-Cola 600, any upcoming NASCAR race, having a scanner at the track is truly a game changer. Make your reservations today. The hits start coming, and they don't stop coming for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. A couple weeks ago, Ryan Preece had his second place Talladega run disqualified after NASCAR found an extra spoiler shim that wasn't supposed to be there. Brad Keselowski, the boss man, continues to flounder, 33rd in points with a series-leading 5 DNFs through the first 12 weeks. Today, the bad luck bug bit Chris Buescher. After finishing top 10 at Kansas Speedway this past weekend, Buescher's car was one of the randomly selected vehicles taken back to the NASCAR R&D Center, and lo and behold, NASCAR found something they did not like today. They announced the penalty report. NASCAR cited Rule 14.5.4.G, referring to the front bumper cover. The front fascia may be strengthened on the inner surface with bonded on non-metallic materials in the area contacting the bumper foam and up to 2 inches further in all directions. I don't really know what any of that means, so here's what mechanic, writer, and YouTuber Bozy Tatarovich posted on X, a rendering with a highlighted yellow section. I'll link his thread down in the description below. He goes into a little more detail for those who are technically inclined and want to get into the nitty-gritty details. The penalty. The team has been fined $75,000 and assessed with the loss of 60 owner and 60 driver points and 5 playoff driver and owner points. Crew chief Scott Graves has been suspended from the next 2 Cup Series events through Charlotte Motor Speedway. 60 points drops Chris Buescher from 12th in the regular season standings, comfortably holding on to a provisional playoff spot to 24th. Oh, the points are really tight from like 15th through 25th. In fact, I believe Ryan Preece with 251 points is currently holding on to the final playoff spot. Chris Buescher, 9 positions back, is only 27 points out. Like, you could make that up in a race. So yeah, 15th through 25th, it's really tight, but that's a lot of names now between Chris Buescher and the provisional playoff cut line. That is a brutal penalty to wake up to in the middle of the week. And I just squeezed Chris Buescher back into my power rankings too. Oh man, I must admit, I've always had a soft spot for RFK Racing. Obviously, my favorite driver growing up, Matt Kenseth, won a championship back when it was just Jack Roush in charge. The team has evolved quite a bit over the past 2 decades plus. They are no longer the juggernaut they were in the mid-2000s when they won back-to-back championships and then in 2005 took up half of the playoff spots. Roush Racing used to be at the level of a Hendrick, a Penske, a Gibbs. You might say they were better than some of those teams, at least for a few years there. I don't know that they'll ever get back to that point, but in the next-gen era, RFK Racing has shown the ability to occasionally burst through that ceiling and crash that party. Like in 2023, Chris Buescher won 3 races over the summer and made it to the round of 8 in the playoffs. And I must say, signing Ryan Preece this season looks to be a pretty good decision. Like I mentioned, 12 races in, he is currently holding on to the final playoff spot on points. He has 4 top 10 finishes already. And keep in mind, that's despite losing 40 plus points because of the Talladega disqualification. So there continue to be signs of life from RFK Racing. That's a team that I really want to see crash that party more often. It's so difficult to beat the Hendrick, the Gibbs, the Penske's unless you have a direct alliance like 23XI does. And even then, it's difficult to beat your big brother, I guess. This is a tough penalty, man. And I don't know, again, I've never worked on a next-gen car. I am not the most technical. I can't say where the competitive advantage could have come. I would guess maybe that reinforcing part of the front nose could add some weight somewhere that might provide you with an aerodynamic or a handling advantage at a high-speed oval like Kansas Speedway. Chris Buescher did qualify second. Like, he started on the front row. He almost won this race a year ago, so I'm not shocked. I don't think anyone should be shocked that Chris Buescher was fast this weekend, but they did qualify extremely well. I talked about this earlier in the week in the wake of the Lane Riggs Truck Series disqualification. Like, I don't blame the teams for pushing the limits of what's legal. It just seems so far this season, either the teams are getting sloppier, maybe NASCAR has caught on to more and more of these tricks, but we are seeing more and more disqualifications, midweek penalties than usual. And that is interesting. NASCAR has to officiate the next-gen car strictly if the next-gen car is to fulfill its purpose. The point of creating a spec car, every team buying the same parts and pieces from single-source suppliers, was to limit the amount of exorbitant R&D the big teams would spend money on. It's debatable whether or not that effort has been successful thus far. Teams are just spending money in other areas for sure, but that was the point of the next gen. And if NASCAR doesn't strictly officiate this Cup Series car, then Pandora's box opens once again, and the big teams will continue to outspend each other trying to find minuscule advantages. NASCAR is doing their job. The teams are doing theirs as well. Their job is to push the limits of what's legal. And unfortunately for RFK Racing, that's twice now in like 4 weeks. They've been busted. Might be time for an extra quality control sweep on the shop floor before the 600 at least. Anyway, that's the big penalty of the week. As far as I understand, Carson Hocevar's 77 Chevy came back clean. Let's talk about the Coca-Cola 600 Memorial Day weekend. And actually, this has something to do with North Wilkesboro All-Star Weekend as well. Actually, let's start with Memorial Day because Jimmie Johnson will be participating in his own version of the Memorial Day double. He will take Tom Brady for a ride just before the Indianapolis 500. 2 7-time champions will be on track, the fastest seat in sports. This has Fox written all over it. Of course, Fox is broadcasting the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. It is a huge day for that network. Jimmie Johnson, of course, has ties to both, and Tom Brady is Fox's newest NFL analyst and a household name anyone in this country would recognize. Just double check that the tires are aired up, Jimmy. Can never be too careful. What? Hey, I'm an Astros fan. If I have to listen to trash can jokes still in the year 2025, I'm allowed to make a Deflategate reference, okay? After the fastest seat in sports, Jimmie Johnson's headed over to Charlotte because he will race in the Coca-Cola 600. Carvana unveiled a special paint scheme this week to commemorate what will be Jimmie Johnson's 700th career Cup Series start. So many seven-time champion, 700th start. Jimmie Johnson finished top 10 in the Daytona 500. Top 5, actually, third in the season opening Daytona 500. By far his best run since returning to NASCAR, since buying an ownership stake of Legacy Motor Club. Now Jimmie Johnson will attempt to back up that strong finish with a solid result in the sport's longest race. Last year's 600, of course, was cut short by rain, but Jimmie was able to run all of the laps, finished 29th. We've talked about Legacy Motor Club showing a little more speed in recent weeks. Back-to-back top 10 finishes for John Hunter Nemechek at back-to-back mile and a half. So we'll see if Jimmie Johnson, can he sniff out a top 20? That would be pretty awesome in his 700th career Cup Series start. But Moving on, speaking of a different Chevy team, Jimmie Johnson's former team, Justin Allgaier was officially announced to be Kyle Larson's substitute/reserve driver the next 2 weeks as Larson attempts the Indianapolis 500. Justin Allgaier will practice and qualify Larson's car this weekend at North Wilkesboro Speedway, while Kyle Larson is in Indy qualifying for the Indianapolis 500. And just like last season, Allgaier will be Larson's backup for the 600 should something go wrong. I mean, Hendrick Motorsports and Kyle Larson have said they will prioritize the Charlotte 600, but if weather delays or God forbid travel or something else interrupt their plans, Justin Allgaier will be on standby. Makes sense. Hendrick ties, similar size and stature to Kyle Larson. Let's be honest, I think Justin Allgaier, the way the past year has gone, he's earned another opportunity. I mean, think about Justin Allgaier in the past year, veteran driver, we all know who he is. 13th in the Coke 600 last season. Again, shortened by rain, but he subbed for Larson last minute, finished 13th. Pretty darn good. Then he went on to win his first career Xfinity Series championship. Then he qualified for the Daytona 500 and finished 9th in Junior Motorsports' first ever Cup race. And now, right now, he is leading the Xfinity Series standings by 50 points. Justin Allgaier has been on a heater the past 12 months or so. So excited to see him back in a Cup car this weekend at Wilkesboro. Just practice, just qualifying, but still. And hopefully Larson, of course, can complete the double without any schedule or travel interruptions, but should he not, Justin Allgaier has earned the right to be his reserve driver. Is it as exciting as Carl Edwards or last year it was Kevin Harvick at North Wilkesboro testing the car? No, I guess it's not as flashy or exciting as those names might be, but Justin Allgaier, deserving driver, qualified driver, no doubt. So just wanted to update y'all there. Justin Allgaier on standby for Kyle Larson for the second consecutive year. That is going to do it for this morning, folks. Gonna finish my cup of coffee here, get to editing, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more NASCAR news, rumors, race reactions, commentary, so much more every single day. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters as always. We'll catch up on some more news before All-Star Weekend begins, but that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching, folks. I will talk with you again real soon.